by raising up your hands using the raising your hand button on your screen. Please also know that only hands that are raised will be called to ask questions. So just to ensure that we have a seamless and smooth discussion today is why we're making these ground rules. Of course, you know that we're all law-abiding and will ensure that these rules are, it's been followed to the letter. Just to give us a bit of insight into what the World Savings really is about, and for those who haven't participated in our event before now, we've had this World Savings Day webinar, at least for the past 2-3 years now, thereabout. But pretty much just for our own information, basic knowledge, I just needed to give us a bit of insight and background to what World Savings Day is all about. The World Savings Day usually happens on the 31st of October, and is aimed essentially to be able to provide, individuals and businesses details of how they can leverage savings as a tool to drive their business optimally, and for individuals, how you can save to sustain your future. And also it is just basically to provide awareness to ensure people are financially, literate enough to understand that savings is also a tool, that can help you drive your own sustainable future plans and growth and objectives. This is done across the country by institutions, by organizations, by individuals. What do you make fit to see this global activity as something we can leverage to promote the culture of savings, especially among children and youth, so that you can get them to understand the value of savings early enough for them to adopt it as a means, for sustainable growth. Now, just to let you know that LAPOM FB has been in business for about 30 years now and leading in the microfinance subsector. But of course, by way of just providing you with additional information about the bank, I wanted you to understand the LAPOM FB, first of all, is a regulated microfinance bank in Nigeria, one of the foremost and leading microfinance bank in this subsector. Of course, we focus no more on low-income households, micro, small, and medium enterprises, because this is the engine room of the economy. And LAPOM FB is galvanizing this sector, to optimal performance. We're delighted to be very, very, instrumental, in this particular sector. And of course, as of today, we have over 6.5 million clients, meaning that it's something we're doing differently from the others within this subsector. And just about 2 years ago, LAPOM FB is adjudged as one of the top 5, largest employer of labor in Nigeria, and meaning that the MFB is focused on improving lives and impacting lives through its employment, providing different employment to Nigerian youth, empowering them to become economically, independent. Of course, we have over 500 branches across 34 states, including the FCT in Nigeria today, meaning that we are spreading, the gospel of microfinance to people at the various locations, the last man in the last mile, able to take financial services, for their benefit. And of course, the bank has also won the BAFI Microfinance Bank of the Year for over 11 years consecutively now, year on year, in Nigeria. Also, the MFB has disbursed over, as of today, disbursed over 1.5 trillion naira to micro, small, and medium enterprises in Nigeria, meaning that we are committed to improving this sector, not just by way of providing credit, but also by way of providing other additional value benefits to this set of people. So today we will be focusing more, on savings, and to do justice to this conversation today, I have very, respectable individual in our midst, the person of Mrs. Peggy Dehe, as well as Rosemary Dupo, who have over the years, delivered value in the microfinance subsector, of course, in microfinance subsector, also in the financial industry. So today they will be sharing with us their deep experiences on how we can, as an individual, leverage savings as a tool, as a business. What do we need to do? All of these conversations, and all that. So I would engage with my guests today, to talk to us. This is a discussion. Peggy and Rosemary, this is a discussion. We want you to share with us practical insights, on how savings, can be leveraged. So I will start with Peggy. Peggy, is savings a very difficult thing to do? Is savings difficult really? Because again, it seems to be able not to understand that dynamics. How do you, from your experience over these years, and how do you, what do you think about savings?
Okay, thank you very much, Remy. Once again, it's such a pleasure, and I'm really excited to be on this platform. I think first thing, I would like to relate a story, but it's good to know. One thing I would like everyone to hold firmly is that savings is basically just being in, there's a lot, you have to be very intentional, right, about saving and setting aside, money for future use, for emergency, could be for a short-term goal or long-term goal. So, but let me relate a story with you, and then with us, and then we will go deep into some of the principles to have a good savings culture. So I want to relate a story of a protege. His name is Osas. So Osas, working in a telco company, to follow the line of the story, is working in the telco company and receiving a salary of 200,000 naira. And he lives in an accommodation, right? He resides in an accommodation of 400,000 naira. So after a year, Osas gets a pay rise of 100% increase, and that translated to an additional 200,000. So SAS is now earning 400. So quickly, what he did was to then decided to upgrade his status to get an accommodation of 900,000 naira. Now, after doing that, Osas became disgruntled because he couldn't really meet up with financial obligation, his investment goals, and all of that. If I ask, was that a good financial decision? And I mean, how could he now really save to achieve his financial goals? Clearly, from experience, Osas could not execute, his plans as required or as needed, and he couldn't obtain his core certification in IT at that point in time. So clearly, his decision was not just right at that point in time. So imagine if he had saved 50% of that increase, in his salary raise, he would have saved for. It would take a year. It would take a year now. Save 50% of that, he would have saved like 1.2 million, right? And then if he had done that for 2 years, he would eventually have been very happy, and then he can actually position himself, to take more strategic goals. So now, delving into some of the principles, and then while, I just created this story so we can begin to follow the principles and see what Osas could have done better. You must set clear savings goals. It's very important. Define, I said define what you want to save and how much you need. It must be clear. And in doing this, you have to be very smart. So I'm speaking from, you have to be very smart. So when I say smart, I mean, you have to be specific. So being specific, you have to be able to tell yourself that I'm going to be saving every month, right? So that is being specific. So you're going to be saving every month. So when you do that, also, you have to ensure that while you're setting your savings goals, you should also be able to measure it. So it should be measurable. So in measuring this, practically, you tell yourself, I want to save 20,000 naira, for example, or 10,000 naira every month. So It should be, I said earlier, you should be what specific. I want to save monthly. You should then be able to measure, I want to save 20,000 naira. And then you also ensure that it's achievable. So for you to determine whether it's achievable, you ask yourself, am I able to save 20,000 naira from what I earn? Am I able to save 10,000 naira? Am I able to save 100,000 naira from what I earn? Salaries or any other means of income that you have. Then again, you ask yourself, is it realistic? How well can I accommodate this within my earnings? And then again, it must be time bound. So in doing this, you have to set the frequency, saying that on the 27th, for example, of November, I will ensure that I save 20,000 naira. So that is being specific. And then you also know that in the space of 1 year or 2 years, there is a certain amount that you have planned, you have set that you want to have to achieve. It could be an investment goal. It could be an education goal. So you have all of that. So that is about setting a goal. So that is, for me, one of the very first principle that you must imbibe. So if Osas knew he was going to, after having a pay raise, imagine, if he has set a goal to say, I would want to, upgrade, at that point in time, it wasn't a need for Osas. It would have been a want. There are times we have to upgrade. Our needs can upgrade to become, our wants can upgrade to be our need. So if he had planned better to say, okay, I want to upgrade my accommodation in the next 1 year, in the next 2-3 years, he could have had this smart plan, being very specific, measure it, ensure he can achieve it, and then it's time bound. So when he has all of this well planned out, he could easily have gotten his accommodation without stress, and he's comfortable. So I'm just using that now on, you being able to set your goal as one of the key principles to ensuring that you save for your future. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope our audience are listening. Like I said today, you will get deep insight into this conversation. For me, I've learned something just now from what Peggy's analogy. So what she's mentioned now is to have a SMART goal towards saving. So SMART is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. You should pick those insights as this very comments are coming in. So please, if you are on this call, can you just raise your hand button or say clap your hand for Peggy for giving us this this very deep thoughts. I want to be sure that we're all on this call. Can you just clap for Peggy on the chat box? Let me see your clap. Use the clap icon. Please keep it coming. It's not easy to share this very vital information. Of course, I have seen so many. I can write a book from just this insight you've given to me, Peggy. Honestly, it's well loaded and packed. From the setting up the SMART goal and target towards savings. We spoke about deferred gratification. From my own, I used that from your discussion, not because you said it outrightly. You said that not because you have gotten some pay raise that you should begin to acquire everything that is not even necessary for you at that point in time. Probably just a want and not a need. Thank you so much, Peggy, for that, for those insightful feedback. So Rosemary, I just asked Peggy to say that is savings really difficult, because I don't know, maybe it's just lack of knowledge or lack of knowing where to save or how to save or what financial product you can really even maybe sort of patronize the way you save. Saving, Rose, you have been in business for a long time. Apart from that, also being a mother, I'm sure that we hear that women do are better managers of money, are better savers. But we are spending as men, women are able to save the money. So combining your experience as a mother and then as a business person, how do you advise us on savings?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Remy. Once again, it's a pleasure to be on this platform with you. First of all, I will start with a story. I have a friend, so she had a challenge, and then it was time for her to leave her marriage. So she decided to leave the marriage and then go and get accommodation to start off again. And so she approached so many persons. Oh, I need money. I want to leave. I don't have money. And the first question, when she approached me, the first thing I asked was this: how much do you have? How much have you saved for this? So that we'll know how we can assist you.
Yes.
But lo and behold, she never had any savings.
Wow.
So, and I remember several times the husband had complained that this lady, you are an impulse buyer, reckless spender. So it was like a national anthem for them. And why are you only seeing an impulse buyer, reckless spender? But when I buy these things, you use them. So it was at that point that it was not done on her that, oh, I needed to have savings, because this is the same question everybody she approached kept asking her. So you want to get an accommodation, you don't even have 1 naira of your own. You want to start from the very beginning. And then it was not done on her that, yes, if she had actually started saving money, cutting her costs, she would have been able to raise something for herself. And then other persons now coming to assist you. So, but she didn't have that. And I advised her and I encouraged her. And at that point, I told her, by the time you have settled down, you are coming to Lapo Microfinance Bank and you're coming to open an account with Lapo. And every time you have money, you will save, you just transfer to the account, then transfer to the branch account, and then they will be notified. So I linked her up to someone, and then she starts saving. So, but at that time, it was really challenging for her. She was begging from the very scratch until she was able to raise that money. And even when she was trying to get accommodation, what we advised her was that these accommodations these ones we are bringing up now, are they sustainable? Can you, when you want to renew your rent, will you be able to raise this money? So that's the advice that we were giving. And that also helped her to get accommodation that she can afford at that time, and then going forward, because it's not a one-off payment. And so we meet with clients every day. We meet with our clients every day, and we advise them. We advise them on how to save. It's our business. It's part of what we do in the bank. And so, to our greatest surprise, some of these persons that we meet and we convince to say save, at the end of the day, what comes out of it is so much that the person, even the clients, will be surprised to say, oh, I didn't know I would have been able to do this. I didn't know I would have been able to save this amount. So what we do is, for me, as a leader in my zone, and also as a mother, like you have said, is to advise people that before, this is your earning. This is your earning. For instance, you're a salary earner. This is your earning. This is your income. So how do you spend your money? How do you spend your money? What are the things that your money goes into? How do you track your spending? The things you are buying, the things you are spending money on, are they necessary? Some persons just get money, enter the mall and start buying. They buy recklessly. And you discover that some of the things that you buy, they might be things that you don't even need for now. At that particular time, you don't need it. If you're going out for shopping or you want to buy things, what is expected is that you have a list of your items, looking at what your earning is, what is your income, what is your income, what is your earning, and then you prioritize. You bring out what you need to buy. You look at the list again, over and over again. Are there some that are not necessary at that point in time? Yes, we get them. So what some of us do, We have app that will help you do that tracking, track your spending. Also, you can also get exercise book to help you do that. Write out all the things that you need to do. And then that's when we look at, we adopt this 50-20, 50-30 and 20 EUs. How do you do it? To say, okay, my spending will not exceed 50% of my earning. I need to ensure that whatever it is, yes, I understand that there will be financial emergencies, they will come up. But when they come up, what are you going to do? So you first of all make sure that you have a specific amount that you are going to say, this is my spending, and you ensure that you track it. Even that 50% that you are going to allocate to say, oh, these are the necessities, these are things I need for now. 50% I mustn't exceed it. Yes, you can at what time look at what you are spending that 50% on. If they are really necessary, you go ahead to do. But if they are not necessary, you can even begin to save money from there. And then the 30% go to your discretionary, and then the other 20 is your savings. Yes, 20, but you can increase it. If you look at it that, oh, 50% I'm supposed to use for my necessities, and you're able to cut down so much there. If you're able to cut down so much there, it will help you to increase your savings, because savings is very, very important. And this habit of savings, like I tell people, it's just for you to discipline yourself to say, I want to save. You must be intentional about saving. Otherwise, money is not always enough for everybody. No matter how much you think you are earning, no matter how small you think you are earning, if you're not disciplined in savings, in spending, you will not get there. So it's not for you to say, oh, when I start earning so and so amount, that is when I will start saving. Or it is when I get to so and so level, that is when I start saving. Or you're going to say it is when I grow my business to a certain level, that is when I start saving. No, you can start it. You can start it immediately. You start it because you will have need for it. You will have need for it. We used to say, save for the rainy day. So when the rainy day comes, what are you going to do? Are you going to do GoFundMe, just like the story I shared with you? You want to do GoFundMe, and even the persons that are going to help you, don't forget that are going to bring out so much also from their savings. And so you should be prudent in spending. This is very, very important for us, because the future is awaiting us. The future awaits us.
Yeah.
And so no matter how so much you think you are earning, or how little you think you are earning, you can start saving, discipline, and have this habit of saving. Because you have dependent, for example. You have dependent, and don't forget that your dependent, tomorrow, before you know, they'll start primary school, they'll go to secondary school, and they'll go to the university. Is it when they get to that level that you now start thinking of, oh, how do I raise money? How do I ensure that I pay my child's school fees? So you start saving. You start saving gradually. And there are so many areas that you can actually cut your cost. I'm not the one that will cut your cost for you, but you are the one that will look at. You are the one that will look at your spending. You know your spending. You know the things that you need. I've seen people buying things that they need next year. Are you buying things you need next year? Are you buying things you need next 2 years? So it's important for us to have this habit of saving. And then lastly, Mr. Remy, I want to also talk about this. You know, in LAPO, we have contributing pension. I'm sure if LAPO has not come up with that, or there is no policy on that, a lot of people will not save. And that money, that contributing pension, where a portion of your salary is set aside, and then the bank also add that same amount for you on a monthly basis, and it's being saved. So some people have planned so much that they're going to do with that money. But my question is, if LAPO don't do that, will you on your own be so disciplined to set aside that amount that is being removed from your salary every month to say, this is my savings, because a day will come where I will retire from a LAPO, or a day will come where I will resign, or a day will come where I will need Can you be so disciplined to do that? So that is my question for all of us to answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I can see the fire burning on this webinar. Honestly, I have learned so many things myself. I've been writing down copiously from when Peggy started, and also when you also now brought in your own perspectives. Because I've seen my takeaway from this is that is really that blew my mind was the 50, 30, 20 rule. To say that pretty much your entire spending should not be more than 50% of your entire earnings in the first instance. And then you have a 30 for a discretionary, use, as in, okay, you earn this salary. Do I have something that I'm specifically want to do myself? And then you save the 20. Of course, you also reemphasize that you can upgrade this rule. It's not cast in stone. You can decide to do 50% savings if you want to, depending on your individual objective as an individual. I mentioned that Peggy said I would do smart savings. Be specific, let's be measurable, let's be achievable, let's be realistic, and then be time bound. That time bound is very important as well, to say on a monthly basis or the weekly basis. We share that I have certain amount set aside for savings. So for me, Rosemary, one of the salient takeaway from this your perspective is the 50, 30, 20 rule, to say you must make it a priority. It's not an option. Mm-hmm. Somebody says you always spend after savings, not save after you have finished spending. And then you're at your very last corner, and you're not thinking of savings. Make savings a way of life, and how to be sustainable as an individual. All right. So this is a very remarkable conversation that we're having today. Of course, we're learning, and I'm sure that our guests will ask us questions at the end of our discussion. So please keep writing your questions in the chat box. We will discuss them by the time we're done with this discussion. But I want us to really just listen, and take feedback from these respectable ladies on this call who are sharing the deep insight on how we can leverage savings as a key tool to shaping our future for prosperity. Now, Peggy, I would like to by way of emphasis, one of your feedback was about needs and wants. Could you give us a bit more insight into what the need is and what the want is, so that we can sort of differentiate? Some of us are novices, we just want to get a bit of insight to be able to identify, to differentiate between what the need is and what the want really is.
Okay. Thank you very much. And thank you, Rosemary. I mean, the 50, 30, 20 rule is a phenomenal one there. So prioritizing your needs and your wants is very critical when it comes to savings for the future. I would say that your need really is what sustains you. Your need sustains you. I'm just to have that thing. My need sustains me, but my want really is what entertains. It is what entertains me. So your need is a must-have. So when you are saving and when you are purchasing, you must always have that at the back of your mind. What is my need? What is my want? What sustains me? What can't I do without? And then what necessarily can I desire, but I can, manage, to put forward to another day. So it's very critical that we understand that our needs are necessary for our survival. So we must prioritize along this line. So when you have your income or you have your earnings, you know that my income that I'm setting aside, just like Rosemary said earlier, my 50% is going to be taking care of my needs. So such as perhaps my mortgage, my rent, my school fees, my food, my shelter. Yeah. So those are things that we need. They're very critical for survival, And then, okay, my wants on a scale of preference. It must be on a scale of preference. Because even from your wants, you can even get some savings. In as much as you have told yourself that, oh, 20% from my income, for example, must go into my savings. But even from your 30% for your wants, you can still gain some savings there anyway. But however, your wants could be, going to watch the movies, going to watch the movies, getting a designer's bag, and all
that
of that.
vibe, yes.
So all of that. So, but always subject your purchase to what is a must-have and what is a nice to have. So my needs and my wants, you must look at those things critically. And then the decision that you take is very critical, So ensure you do not buy the things that you don't need. You see, a lot of times you spend so much money on wants, you therefore, at the end of the day, you find that if you buy so much of what you don't require, you will end up selling your needs. You will end up selling what you need. Imagine you have spent so much money on designer's bag at the point of time when you really don't need them. At the end of the day, you are in critical need. You find yourself selling perhaps your property to be able to feed and to keep up. So you must carefully prioritize. What are my priorities? It must be very clear. And then have it on a scale of preference. Of course, there are times, there are times when really your wants actually could become a need, and then it's a very thin line. And then I'll give you an example. For example, a young family, a couple now who just got married. They're living together, they're happy, everything is fine. They don't have a car, they have to commute, using the transport system. They're just, all about. Now they have a baby. The need for a car was not sacrosanct in the first perhaps 1-2 years of marriage. It was for them a want. But now there is a baby, and they need to provide that level of, protection and comfort, and, for that child, for ease of movement. So they have to get a car, to be able to ease transportation for their family. The need for a car, which was a want, can now become a need. And then you put it on your scale of, you need to have a car, and begin to save towards it. And then it's no longer a want. It becomes a critical need. Or you want to upgrade a car. So all of this, you must prioritize. I think it's all about you prioritizing. Have a scale of preference, on what your needs are, and then what your wants are. And don't miss out, even when you are prioritizing your savings. Your savings should be non-negotiable. It should be a non-negotiable expense. Non-negotiable, such that once you receive your pay, it moves into your savings. So I would just jump into automation, right? If that's fine. So automating your savings also helps, you to have a very bullish savings culture, to have a very frugal savings culture. So one of the things you can do is to set up, for example, an automation system via your bank. Like we here in Lapo Microfinance Bank, you have a salary account. Open a savings account specifically for your savings, so that once you are paid your salary and having ensured that you have a standing instruction or order on your account to say 10,000 or 20,000, within the SMART goal, you ensure that there's a deduction for example, 15th of every month. Nothing changes that rule for you. 15th of every month, that money moves into your savings account. And that account must have a start and an end date. So it's going to be for a year, if it's going to be for 2 years, but it just regularly. So there should be consistency in ensuring that you have those deductions made from your salary account into your savings account. Again, You can also have your savings outside your conventional savings account. You can have a mutual fund, somewhere. So whereby deductions are made and, sent into your mutual funds account where your savings earns some level of interest. Now, when you save, one of the fantastic advantages of saving is that you earn more money when you save because you're earning interest on your savings. So I think at times we don't really understand these principles. So don't keep money somewhere and say, this money, I'm saving this money is there, I'll be putting 20,000, it's just there. No, please move, take it a notch higher. Ensure that you're earning interest on your savings. So move into a savings account where you are earning interest, or move into a mutual fund account. You can also invest in low risk schemes like having shares. So where over time, it appreciates and then you earn, good income. So automate the process. Automation takes away the human intervention. So I'm still a work in progress. So I automate my savings in such a way that every month, a portion goes into my savings account. I don't have to go to the bank. I don't have to do anything. I don't even get to do anything. So, and I don't have access to it. Another just taking it a notch higher. Another thing you can do is to ensure that you reduce the digital interfaces you have around your savings. So you are not able to deplete it in any way. So what I have done is I have an account where I can only access that account by walk-in. I can only walk into the bank if I have to access that account, and I will have to write. And, so all of that, at times the stress of even having to move to the bank, working and doing all those documentation just puts me off. So doing that helps you to build a good savings culture, so you can save for the future while looking at that goal, that investment goal you want to achieve. So always prioritize your needs, your wants, and your investments so that you can save for your future. So thank you.
Wow. Honestly, my notes very full from all of these valuable insights you provided. Thank you so much, Peggy, for all of this perspective that you shared with us again. Again, one of the things that I took away from this discussion is to automate your savings. To say that through standard instructions, you can make sure that a certain percentage of your salary earning is automatically saved. That way, you don't have to go through the rigors of trying to take the fund by yourself, which cannot be easy for you to do at that point when you receive the fund. But because you have an automated standing instruction, that amount is automatically deducted from source and debited in a credit account, savings account for you. It's quite important to know that these things are not that as difficult as we think. Just that we don't have the self-consciousness or the self-awareness to know that savings is actually doable. And so Rosemary, LAPAM FB, is known, I don't want to say globally now, but globally and even locally as a leading microfinance bank in sub-Saharan Africa, providing, financial services. But of course, a lot of people, the credit part of LAPAM FB, for instance, has become a household name in Nigeria. So if you want anything that has to do with credit, you always think LAPO first. Given our antecedents in this industry, being here for about 30 years and providing support to micro, small, and medium enterprises. But of course, LAPO has very fantastic savings offering that can also empower people. Do you mind to talk about one or two of LAPO savings products, and how our listeners can take advantage of this product? For instance, I know that you have the Mapikina Nice savings account, you have the regular savings, you have the fixed deposit. All of these are all savings options that our various listeners can leverage. Can you please just tell us briefly, not into whatever elaborate, but just briefly on this, especially the Mapikina Nice savings product?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Remy. So we are looking at savings. How do we discipline ourselves? How do we become intentional to ensure that we save for the future? And so for us in Lapo, we have embraced that, and we have a lot of savings products that we can embrace. For example, looking at, okay, you want to save money. How will you save? Number one, for those accounts you are going to open, you said know the purpose of those accounts, know the reason why, be specific on those accounts that are going to open for savings purpose, for example. But we have different types of savings. We have our regular savings, and we have the express savings. We have My Pikin and I, and we also have the fixed deposit. Now, you can be saving. After a while, we look back and say, oh, I have saved this amount. What we advise you to do is to invest. Invest on your savings. You invest on your savings. Now, how do you invest? How do you earn money? How do you make money from your savings? You embrace the fixed deposit. For instance, you have been able to save so much over the years. For you, instead of you just leaving that money there, you can have a fixed deposit, and then you earn interest on your savings. And you know that Lapo has a very competitive interest rate. And also, not just fixing your money, but you can even earn your interest upfront. You can earn your interest upfront. Oh, this is a project I want to do, and I don't want to wait till the end of the year. For example, you are fixing that money for 1 year. You can say, okay, I want to take my interest upfront. In Lapo, it is allowed. In Lapo, it is allowed. Then I've also talked about savings for your dependents. My Pikin and I, we have them. And a lot of us have embraced it. And we are intentional to say our children, our kids, they are growing, and we need money. We need money to fund their education in the future, now and in the future. And so what we do is to be intentional to say, every month, this is what I do. So you can start it. You can embrace My Pikin and I. You can embrace the regular savings, and then you can look at the express savings, open accounts for your spending. And as soon as you open you open express savings, we are giving you a debit card instantly, and that helps you. That you do not need to go to the branch office to make your withdrawals. Use your debit cards anywhere you want to withdraw money. You can use it on POS. You want to make purchases, you can use your card. So we advise, and it's still on, and there's a promo that is on now that you need to save. Open express savings, and then you win money at the end of the year. We want to reward 100 people at the end of the year. Want to reward 100 people at the end of the year. And I want to encourage everybody to key into that. Start saving. If you have not, start saving from now. If you have not opened an account, open an express savings account, because the bank is going to reward 100 people at the end of the year. And I'm so happy, because Lapo, when they say it, it is done that way. So I want to encourage everybody to embrace it. Not just leaving your money, like I've said. You can look at the fixed deposit and earn money on your savings, and you can even earn it upfront. So we can approach any of our branches, and then for this savings product I've talked about, approach any of our branches, and they are available for you. Thank you, Mr. Remy.
Very much. Thank you very much, Rosemary. So we just want to make you understand that savings have been made so easy, from Lapo Microfinance Bank Limited. For instance, our My Pikin and I savings, the entry barrier is just with 200 naira only. You can access that account, meaning that you don't have to have so much money. You don't have to have so much amount of money to start savings. With as little as 200 naira, you can start saving My Pikin and I savings account. And this account enables you to save for a while and take benefit of scholarship for your children. Do you understand? Also, you can have access to health insurance. helping you to achieve your saving, earning interest, and still having additional benefits. So, I mean, savings can be such a blessing to people who understand it and leverage it for their own financial, independence and their financial sustainability. So Rosemary, I cannot thank you enough for providing this deep insight. So there are savings product, you have a canonized savings product, you have Express Savings, which is currently there's a promo on Express Savings currently as we speak today. We're just expected to save just between 20,000 naira on a monthly basis for 3 months to December. And that means that you have an average savings of 6,000 naira in your savings account, and able to qualify for the raffle draw. Which one lucky winner will win 1.5 million naira as the start prize. And we also have other consolation prizes of 40K each for 50 people. So you see, savings pays. Savings is the way to sustain, your future if you understand the dynamics. So also saying that you should make savings a part of your investment. Make savings a part of your ways of sustaining yourself. As a matter of fact, we also have one of the fantastic fixed deposits, rates in this country today. The highly competitive fixed deposit rate, which enables you to earn an upfront interest on your fixed deposit. It's very important for you to understand that, we have provided you with a bouquet of savings options that can enable you to become self-independent, financially buoyant, financially sustainable, and you can grow your wealth over these years. So become really wealthy and the true savings. So it's not just about, all of the credits part of our business. We also provide you a bouquet of financial services that enables you to become self-independent and enable you to be financially, sustainable. Thanks so much, Rosemary, again once more for those valuable insights you've provided. I'm going to come back to Peggy, because I'm really excited about this conversation today. I'm learning so much from both of you. I'm glad I have you on this call. I want to thank you so much. Please, my various listeners, could you please just sort of put your indicate? Let's tap for our speakers. I think they've done really well. They've done justice to this conversation. Please use your button on the chat to either do a thumbs up, or just clap your hands for our speakers. They really done justice to this conversation. But before we sort of wrap up this discussion today, I'd like us to sort of do a recap because it seems as if savings is really is easier said than done. Let us be more realistic, because these things about savings, you can save today, but it's really not very easy as such. I don't know whether I'm just me or I'm just, hallucinating, but pretty much, sometimes you're finished spending before you realize that, oh my goodness, I'm not saved for this period. I remember that don't pay yourself to automate it, and then ensure that you don't fall into that victim of having finished spending your assuming you earn 100,000 naira, you have spent up to 90K. I don't remember that you need to save. Oh my goodness, you're not in trouble to save. But saving can be fun, really and truly, if you take some of these valid strategies that have been provided by our speakers here today. But I mean, as we try to wrap up this conversation today, but I'd like to come back to Peggy. Peggy. Yeah. So okay, so let's talk about to reviewing your progress regularly. What does that mean? How do we review our progress? Do we know when we are at a milestone, or is it that we should know when we are actually saved for a particular project? How do we review? What do we need to do? How do we go about this review of our targets?
Okay. Oh, great. Just like it's very important that in life you must always reflect, always go back, to assess what you have done, and then you are able to tell how well you have done so well in terms of your plan. Remember, you must have a plan. So if you don't have a plan in the first place, what are you even going to review? So you must first really have that savings plan. And then recall we talked about, the suggestions around budgeting when, Rosemary was talking about the 50, 30, 20. That was really, yes, that was all about budgeting. So now you have a budget. So maybe I'll just speak a little bit about it. Your budget is your financial plan. So, and it's that gives you that navigation, a way around your finance. And then you're able to tell how you are spreading, because your budget helps you to spread your income, over your expenses. And so you're able to tell, okay, I have apportioned this for my must-have, and this for my wants, and then this for my investment, So once you have done that, you begin to review. You could do it every week. You could do it every day. For example, you can start as good as going through your spend each day. I mean, for example, you go to the shopping mall. I bought XYZ. Once you have that, you go back again to that your little diary that you have kept, because it's good that you have a diary. Otherwise, how are you going to be tracking? You say, okay, I have bought XYZ. Is this a need? But off the top of my head, you should have done that even before purchasing. But it's always good to go back to say, I have done well on this, and mark yourself. Okay, I got an A, on this. Oh, no, I should have done better. Look out for discounts. It's a way of reviewing. When you are reviewing your expense, you should always look out for discounts. There are discounts, there are offers in any shop. If you're going shopping, look out for, items that have discounts. But again, ensure that you're going for quality item. Don't go for quantity. Quality. You buy one shoe, it lasts you for a year. You buy 10 sub, you know what I mean? And then you can't even use that shoe for
longevity of the material.
months. So ensure that you buy quality items, not quantity, so you can use over time. That helps you to save as well. So you are not just having, because again, your home is filled with so many items you are not using. And remember, just like, I had taken a quote, a popular quote that says, if you buy so much of what you don't need, you will end up selling what, you really, really require. So periodic review, it can be daily, it can be weekly, it can be monthly. Then what I do, right, because like I mentioned, I'm still learning curve for me. I have an accountability partner, that helps me with my finances. I've said, this is what, my accountability partner has a mirror of my budget for the month. And so at the end of the month, we have a chat around it. What I have done, what I shouldn't have done, things that went into, my wants that I shouldn't have, that weren't necessary. So it helps me to cut away the non-essentials. So you just have it, I must cut away the non-essentials. I must prioritize my spending. I must save for my future. So because when you save, when you have periodic review, you are able, to check yourself, save better, and live happier. So it's very critical. And I would like to emphasize a point clearly, really. Don't save because you want to save. Because some people, I think, they also go overboard. They save so much that they get hungry, right? So don't save to the detriment of your health. Don't save to the detriment of your health. Save wisely. So what I'm saying is, you can, because of the economic situation, one thing I hear is, how can I save with this kind of, with this economic hardship? How can I really save? Yes, you can. Just eat healthy. Good meals don't necessarily have to be expensive. Eat healthy and live wisely. So I will go back again to it, that you eat healthy, exercise well, and that eating good necessarily doesn't mean expensive food while you save. Don't joke with your health, because you will save all this quantum, and at the end of the day, you are not healthy enough to enjoy it. So a little bit of health tip in there to also help us along the way. But periodic review can be daily, can be weekly, can be monthly. Have an accountability partner, and then your budget. Not everybody can have a budget tool. You can just have your notebook. Our phones help now. You have templates. You just do your templates and you divide it into your income, and then you have your expense. Your expense, you can break it further into your fixed expense and your variable expense. And so your fixed is, yes, I must, this is what I must pay for. Your utility bills, your rent, your mortgage, all of that. And then your variable expense, which, could be to get an upgrade of a car, all of that, which falls also in the buckets of want, but prioritize them. Regular check. And then, of course, you have your investment buckets, where you ensure that all your savings are well outlined and you're following through, and have that accountability partner that can always, do those checks with you and give you feedback. And then you become a better saver, which will help you to prepare for your future. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Peggy. Honestly, my notebook is filled with wisdom from this session. I'm going to apply some of these learnings. I'm not going to just take this as a talking point. I'm going to take it as an application point to improve on my own savings culture. You mentioned accountability partner. I mean, that is new for me. I've not heard that before. To say somebody who can check you to see if you're really meeting up to your set target for savings. Would this be a body, or your spouse, or you have a financial institution that can be accountability partner? Because again, I think this is us trying to measure ourselves against set targets. But of course, I think we'll discuss that later. But for us, it's been a wonderful conversation. Personally, I've learned so much. And I want to give our various listeners the opportunity to ask some of their questions or make comments, as the case may be, so that we can have a two-way interaction, a robust conversation, and a learning that we can take away from these discussions. So please, I'd like to open up the floor to our various audience who are on this call to ask their questions. My hosts, my guests here will provide you with as much feedback as possible to your questions. So please, our listeners and our guests, kindly let's hear from you. Let's take your questions. Please click on the raise hand icon for us to identify you as someone who wants to ask question, or you can also drop a question in the chat box. Let's do that in another 5-10 minutes, and then we'll call this session a wrap. All right, guys, let's have your questions, comments, as the case may be.
Okay, good morning, everyone. And thank you to the panelists also for taking us through some of the processes that you also have explored personally on managing your savings. Like as mentioned, it's World Savings Day, and shaping savings shapes our future. That's a title. So my single contribution will be coming from how to manage your finances. I know one of the panelists had mentioned that they have a budget that they monitor on a day-to-day basis. One of the things that have also helped me as a person is not necessarily doing my budget on a daily basis. There are some expenses you know that must be met every time, either daily, weekly, monthly, as the case may be. So in doing that, what I've done differently is that since 2016, I've been doing annual budget for myself. So what that means is that at the beginning of the year, between 31st December and maybe 5th of January the following year, I'll draw up a budget of all my expenses for the entire year. And that helps me to keep track and also avoid impulse buying, because part of the challenges we have, especially for ladies, is impulse buying. Ladies like shopping, so it's not like they spend recklessly, but most times they see things that they like, they just want to buy, and that becomes impulse buying. And at that particular point in time, it may not really be what you need. There's a difference between want and need. So it may not necessarily be what you need, and that also will impact on what you're able to save. So you could explore having to do an annual budget that is split into monthly. So you keep track of what you are spending on a monthly basis. Then you can do it with Excel. It's done in a way that I have, for example, 100,000 to spend for a particular item in January. And I'm keeping track of anytime I make expenses, I go back to that place to update the value that I spent. It tells me what is the balance. So at the end of the month, I'll know whether I've run short of my budget or I'm still within budget. If I've run short of my budget, it therefore implies that the following month, I need to manage my expenses in a way that I'm able to recover what I've spent in excess the previous month. So that helps to keep you in check also. And of course, like we always say, you don't spend and save what is left. You save before you spend. So that means that if my salary is 100,000 and I've decided that every month I'm going to be saving 20,000, 30,000, 5,000 or 50,000 as the case may be, at the end of that month, I'll take that money and save first. Whatever that is left is what I will spend. But if you want to spend first, I'll say, let me just spend whatever that is left, I will save. You may eventually spend 105 naira. I mean, 105,000, meaning you have exceeded your budget. So that's a little contribution I just said that you also add for us to also learn from. Thank you very much.
Very much our own very own CFO. I mean, where else can you hear financial advice better than from the CFO himself? You know, talking about budgeting, you know, monitoring, you know, and also evaluating yourself in between the period where you've set those targets. I mean, of course. So I think it coming from Monday Osunobo, our zonal manager, Lagos Mainland. Mr. Osunobo, please.
Okay. Good morning, sir. Also, good morning, my panelists. It'll be a very interesting interaction and engagement. So what I want to say is that the two things I want to say. First is, considering this present economic reality now, where even the disposable income is no longer there. Yes, it is no longer there again because inflation have taken up everything when you look at the price. I was trying to see as an advice whether would it be possible as an organization to see how we can do mandatory savings, to see that at the end of the month, will it be possible to say, okay, let them be taken according to your rank, take a certain amount of money, mandatory, take it away from you. Then by the end of the year, let them give you, because presently now, there's not even disposable income for you to can spend. That's just what reality, because I knew that I tried it last year anyway, at the beginning of last year, after listening to the founder, where they draw a chart, when they say, if you save 200 naira, after 1 year, you do this, 300 naira, I didn't know this. I tried to look for the chart, I could not lay my hand. I tried that last year, and I told all my DMs, everybody, let them go and do a little, this local seed that you would do with wood. Yes, we would do with I will all agree. CSU do this, BM do this, State Manager do this. I know the few person that are even able to do it at the end of the year, but the only sad part of it was that they have to leave the organization because they were able to save enough money for them to go and start their own business. Someone told me when we were saving 500, they was able to raise. When I began to hear their mark, even me that was even saying it, I didn't even expect that they were able to save this amount of money. I just try to bring to my people what to see what the founders say. So I'm trying to see whether we can even do it. That also, okay, this year, take away 5,000 according to your round, by December, then you return the money back. Turn the money back to staff. So that is what I want to see, whether is that possible to do. Is it within the labor law or whatever for us to do that? Because for now, deliberately, it's not fun. It's not really fun, especially not to me anyway. To people. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sunobu. So, of course, what you said is a very valid suggestion. But of course, this we'll have to run it by stakeholders to see if something we should consider. And knowing fully well that these are individual earnings, they have a right to either or not. But I think it's a very good suggestion you've made. End of the day, to be for their own advantage or for our own advantage to have something kept aside, regardless of the current challenges that we're going through in the economy. As my colleague here has mentioned, to say you can even eat healthy, other than can save you a whole lot more to eat healthy and even live longer. You understand? So in trying to save, I mean, cut down on junk, cut down on those food that are not they're not your needs. They just want. If you want to eat burger, burger is just a want. Literally, you can eat a very beautiful, nicely made, homemade, vegetables stew and maybe rice. More nutritional, healthier, and even cost effective than to buy a big burger of over 5K, 6K that is also going to be probably harmful to your health. So I mean, sometimes necessity is a mother of invention. Because the instinct to survive, is also very important at this time, such that you're able to, manage your resources and still live healthy and still remain sustainable and still be able to save in between. So practically, you must readjust your lifestyles. A lot of things have been said today that if you take it into cognizance, you'll be able to actually survive, even in these very difficult times. Of course, your feedback around automatic savings for staff is well taken. We'll discuss it, take it further, and then see how well that pans out. Ellen Ovia Sui, you may make your comment.
Yes,
Ask your question.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for this session. It's been quite inspiring and educative, but I want to come from a different perspective, please. Yes, savings, we cannot really overemphasize the important. But my question, or rather concern, is savings in this current day and time, as it has to do with inflation, time value for money. How can we really marry it? For instance, you're in a kind of a local thrift, maybe 10 persons, for instance, you want to also use that as a medium of saving. And assuming each person is doing 50,000, that would give us about 500,000 for 10 months. Considering the realities of as in our current value for money now, most times you see that most persons that are able to get that fund at the early part, they tend to get more value for their funds. 500,000 in January cannot do the same thing for you as at October 30th. So saving, how do we really get the best from it? It is good to save, we cannot rule that out. But on a personal note is a concern. And falling back to my Eastern brothers, I'm from the, as a I'm from Southeast. It's difficult for an average Igbo man to part with his or her fund. The first thing they tell you, instead of fixing this money, if I invest it, I know what my returns are. If I use this to store goods, I know what I'll get over the period of time. And before now, years back, you can actually save and you are bringing out your money, whether it's from your piggy bank or whatever means you are using for savings, and you still have value for it. But keeping this money, whether it's in your savings account, whether it's in the fixed deposit, it's almost as if the value is less than what you ordinarily should have. For me as a person, it's really a concern. And yes, we are being educated on savings or reminded on how to go about it and all that. But more of a question now, what are really the best way we can really save considering the current state of our country in terms of economic factors and value for the money? 1,000 in January, like I said, is not the same as 1,000 in October. And nobody can even tell what it is by 2025. So it's a major concern, sir. And if there is any way the speakers can also maybe guide us or sharpen our mind towards that or better ways of getting it done, it will be appreciated. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, Helen. Helen, where are you calling from? Why are you reaching out to us? Why are you reaching out to us?
Owerri.
Owerri.
Yeah,
okay. Are you a staff of the bank?
Yes, CSM, sir. Client relations.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much. That is a very deep question you just asked. You know, I mean, speaking to savings in line of the current economic realities, and then also the disposition of the Southeasterners for savings other than business. All right. I would allow us, I see that my Mr. Geon hands is up. You want to speak to this question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please go ahead.
I just wanted to make a comment. The points Helen raised are very vital and critical.
Yes, they are.
Questions I will need to address, especially with the kind of inflation we are seeing. But the point remains that whether you want to invest or whether you want to put your fund into your business, you definitely will have to save. Saving does not connote that you are just leaving the money there, idle, you're not going to use it forever and all of that. No, that's not what it means. It means that you are setting aside some funds for a certain purpose. It could be that you want to acquire an asset, it could be that you want to expand your business, or there is something that relates to your business you want to buy for those that are into business. Or even as individuals and work and earn salaries, there are certain things you want to do that you save to it. So even if you are in business and you know that I need to buy, for those into production, for example, I want to buy a certain machine. That money will not come just like that. You have only two ways to finance it. Either you do your savings towards it and buy it yourself, or you go to the bank and take a loan. And of course, we also know that comes at a cost. So the point being made here is the fact that, yes, we have challenges in the economy that's eroding the value of our money and all of that. But at any point in time, when you start that savings, that money you have or that you are saving cannot procure what you want to buy. So there is need to avoid some unnecessary spending. I think that's the bottom line that we have emphasized over and over again. To keep money aside for a certain goal. Until that money gets to that point, you definitely will not be able to do it. For example, you want to buy a plot of land for those of us that want to have landed properties. The land is say $1 million, and your salary is say 200,000 or 100,000. You can't get that $1 million overnight. You have to start saving towards it. Apparently, at the time we are getting ready to buy the land, it may have gone to 1.2, but at least you have moved closer to that amount, and you also be able to make some necessary adjustments to be able to obtain that. But just saying that because time value of money, issue of inflation eroding the value of our money, we are no longer going to save. It means we are not prepared to even make those sacrifices that we need to make for our future. That's the bottom line that I think everyone has emphasized, especially the two panelists that have spoken today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Geho. So my panelists, you want to make additional comment on this so we can wrap up this session?
All right, thank you very much. The question asked by our colleague is really very germane. So I will just ride on what the CFO have said. Really, I think it all ties down to mindset, right? You must have the right mindset. Like they say, Rome was not built in a day. So you just start from somewhere. Start small. Start small. I mean, small to me is not small to you, you know? So, but just start small from somewhere and just keep your eyes on the goal. One of the things you can do, like you said, what are some of the things we can think around? So I thought around quickly, you can rent out some of your assets. So because you must always evaluate your financial position. I think when you do that, it gives you a better insight on how to deal with your situation. So if I were in a very critical situation, or I really want to, change the narrative and save and all of that, perhaps I've not even started, I could look at my financial situation. What do I have around me? Maybe I have materials that can be used for decoration. No, we women, I'm using women now because I can relate with it easily. We women, we always have, quite a lot that we have around the house. Maybe you have some flowers in the house, you have lots of it. You have enough cutleries, that you have acquired over time. You have plates. Rent them out when people are having parties. They will pay you something. Those monies that you get, you can channel them into your savings. It's okay, I will be saving this money. I will just be renting out, plates, pans, and spoon. I'm just trying to be practical here. Maybe you have a land. You can rent it out for farming. If you're not ready to build, rent it out for farming. So when you're using it to farm and it's paying something for it, you save that money. From that money, you can actually meet other needs, but take something out. Okay, I told myself that this year, I will save 10%, 20%. Take from it and put in your savings. Do that continuously. Keep making those progress. Just keep progressing and progressing on it. Don't stop. Don't stop. So look around you. There should be that thing that you have in your house that you can use. You can rent out as an asset and it will generate income for you. And you said something about the Easterners. I know I stayed in the East for like a year. I am thrilled by their how they are, especially with their very entrepreneurial skills and all of that. If you have people around you that find it difficult to save or have a certain mindset about saving, I think financial education does a lot to change the narrative and perspective. Just keep talking about it. Keep giving them examples of how it has yielded, positive outcome. And I guess they will learn and turn around. But again, I would tell you, most of them, the savings that you are talking about, they probably have used those savings maybe to buy goods, to sell again, to earn income. They're pouring it back. Maybe they also have, they have invested in shares and stocks and all of that. So it really depends. But basically, look out for that asset that you can rent out. Some of us, maybe when we use palm oil, let me go down and use palm oil, groundnut oil, those bottles that you use. Do you know that you can actually sell them out? You sell them, they buy them. They buy them. So at times, some of us just pack them and dump them in the bin and they're gone. Those things you call garbage can bring money. So look within yourself, look within your environment, have the right mindset and be very frugal. Tell yourself, I am going to imbibe the savings culture and I'm not going to shift grounds on this. When you have the right mindset and you don't give up, you will achieve your financial goal and financial security. Thank you. So that's my response to that question.
Again, I can't thank you enough for this additional.
In addition, sir.
Yes, please. Where was Mary?
Okay. In addition, I think she also mentioned that how is it possible to save money looking at the current economic realities. Yes, we might be looking at it that it's difficult, but it is time for us to look at our spending, what do we spend money on? How do you cut down on some of these spendings? Because that is the only way you can do it now. For example, we know how much a liter of fuel is sold right now. It was not. For you to fill your tank, for example, your car, you are going to spend as much as 50,000 naira. But where do you want to go to? Is it necessary? You can save money for you to just go to the first station and then fill your tank with about 50,000 naira. Do you really need to do that at this point in time? You can save money from there. Then what about your subscriptions? The other day, there's someone that came to our house and that said he no longer watch live matches. And we said, why? He said, I can no longer afford to get the full bouquet. That I need to just I need to just cut it down because it's very necessary for me to do that now, right now. So you have your DSTV, you have your Netflix, you have Apple TV, Spotify. You subscribe for all of them. Are they necessary at this time? So you can actually look at this subscription to say, I want to cut cost here because it is telling on everybody. And whether we like it or not, we have to save. And for those of us that do not, for someone that do not have savings, it is even good for you to start saving now. Start it now, because you will need it. You will have financial need in the future. You will have challenges to come, and you will need this money. There's this popular Chinese proverb that say the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the next best time is now. So if you don't have this savings before, and now we are now faced with this recent economic realities, what are you going to do? You continue to live without savings? You start it now. It's just for you to be intentional, be disciplined, and then have this habit of savings. Now, the model brought up something to say, oh, can management actually do something? Can we have a mandatory savings sort of for staff, so that everybody will have a savings to fall back to, say, maybe at the end of the year? So it's a way of disciplining yourself, because some persons might not be able to part away with that money when they get salary. But by the time it becomes like a standing order, it becomes easy for everybody to subscribe to. So you as an individual, what's an individual, we can do that. We can do that. Look at areas where you are spending so much. These are not necessary. Why spending so much money on it? Taking your car to the first station to go and buy fuel, 50 to 60,000 naira. Where are you going to? If it's necessary, fine. But if it's not necessary, you can cut down and begin to save money from there. So thank you. That was my contribution, Mr. Remy.
Wow. I feel like can we just clap for these people? I mean, my guest has done fantastic justice to this discussion today. I'm super proud to have you on this call. I want to thank you especially for honoring us and honoring our invitation to join this discussion today. I also want to thank especially the CFO, who also brought up some perspective from the finance, angles. So of course, I wish you could continue to go on and on. It seems like we've not even started yet, but we spent over an hour plus on this discussion today. I mean, once the discussion is great and it's good, trust me, you don't want to leave the discussion. But of course, we value your time, we value your presence, we value your contribution, we value your sacrifices to join us on this call today, even though it's a working day. We're grateful and we're very, very appreciative of your listenership and then of all the presenters here today. But of course, just by way to wrap up, we want to say that LAPMFB also has a lot of savings options to enable you to save conveniently. One of which we've spoken about today is my Kin&I savings account, which enables you to save for your child and achieve benefit for both child and mother. For instance, you only need to have 200 naira as an entry savings, to save. With just 200 naira, you can start savings on my Kin&I, and it allows you to, qualify for, scholarship for your child, as well as you as a parent can also benefit from the insurance, policy that is part of benefit for that account. So it is important for you to understand that savings can be achieved easily with LAPMFB. Apart from earning the interest on your savings, you have additional benefit that comes with a Kin&I account. Also, our fixed deposit account enables you to save you know, your disposable income, I mean, to be said, you know, there's still an ability to, if you apply all of this, if you apply all of this, you know, strategies that have been proposed by speakers, guest speakers here today, you know, to minimize your expenses, to prioritize your spending, to look at how you can eat healthy and save costs, you will have some monies you can actually really do save. So at least the funds you can put in our fixed deposit, you know, to ensure that you have money, not just for the rainy day, but for even projects. You know, you have a project in mind, for instance, you want to build a house maybe in December or sometimes in the fixed date. You have this fund fixed and it can earn you that money that you require at the time of maturity. You know, so savings should be a way of life, it should be deliberate. I'll read a few comments from our various participants on the chat box. You know, I'm going to read a comment from, so Mr. Igeno has spoken to this already. Say, avoid impulse buying. Have a system to help you track your spending, especially using annual budget with a defined way to track whether you're on track or not. We have Elvis. So societal pressure should not fuel our anxiety to achieve a certain standard of living. Rather, have an accountability framework to improve our savings culture. So don't be pressured. You know, you already have a Toyota Camry, you want to buy a Lamborghini. I mean, do not be pressured to, you know, by society, you know, to spend, you know, on wants when you have the need. You know, your need is to have a car to point A to point B. Therefore, ensure that you focus on your needs and the emphasizes on your wants. Schofield 007 says, seek good financial education and take action, no matter how small, just act. Schofield 007 says so. A functional bucket remains better than a closed borehole. So it's better that you have a small savings over time than have nothing at all. So savings should be something you must do, regardless of the current reality, the current economic reality, your current earnings. Saving must be a part of your lifestyle. And finally, I'm going to take another from Osakonwa says, saving should not be a response to economic situation, but an habit grown over the years. So you should nurture savings. Regardless of the economic will continuously be a reality. Year in, year out, you don't have the control over the macroeconomic fundamental of your nation, of your country, of the economy. But you as an individual can determine to say, you know, regardless of the condition that I find myself, I must save for my future, for my children's future, for my projects. So all of this pretty much take away for us to say one from all the feedback from very, very powerful guest discussant, Mrs. Dehe and Mrs. Jopoho. One of the things we want to take back as summary is that you must first of all prioritize your needs and your wants. Do so. Secondly, is that you must have a smart savings goals and objectives. Smart means must be specific, must be measurable, must be achievable, must be realistic, and must be time bound. So either monthly, if you're a salary earner, or if you're a business owner as well, you can have a set time frame to say, by this particular time in the year or the month, I must save X amount of money. That enables you to set your mind towards achieving that goal. So you have a smart savings, you know, targets and objectives. Also, one of the things we also learned is that you can automate your savings. So, for instance, in LAPA, for instance, we have the cooperative also enables us to save some certain amount of money. You can ask the cooperative to do an automated debit on your account and apportion a specific amount of your salary earning to that particular savings. So, on a month-on-month basis, that amount of money is deducted from your salary. You don't have to bother yourself because it's deducted from source. So you can also do that with some savings, some specific savings account to say, look, on my everyday salary, I want you, to please debit me extra amount into my personal savings account. That can be done. It enables you to do that seamlessly. You also speak about, you know, reviewing and constantly, you know, reviewing yourself to be sure that yes, I am in line with my set objective. So your budget is XY for XY period. On a regular basis, please come back to your diary where you have your, you know, your target written to see whether you're actually meeting up to that target or you are exceeding or underperforming. That way, as the CFO has said, you can make up for the savings in the subsequent month to say that you're supposed to save 10,000 naira this month and you didn't make that, and you can put that in your next month, expense. So I'm going to make up for that savings in the subsequent month coming. So generally for us here at Lapo Microfinance Bank, beyond just providing credit, we go above and beyond to drive financial inclusion in Nigeria through this type of training that we have provided. To ensure that people are financially literate enough to take informed financial decisions. And for us as a microfinance institution, and anyone for that matter, we are delighted to continuously provide social impact through these free webinar sessions to drive financial education, financial inclusion, and enable our various audiences as well as our customers and staff to be financially educated to take informed financial decisions, to make them financially sustainable, and to ensure that they are economically empowered through savings. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for your participation. Special thanks to my guest speakers, Mrs. Rosemary Joko. I sincerely appreciate your time. Mrs. Peggy Idehe. Honestly, I sincerely appreciate your various insightful feedback to this conversation. We can't pay you, but we know that we are happy that you're impacting the society and the community at large, with your wealth of experience and knowledge shared. Thank you so much, the CFO, for your comment, and every other participant on this call. I want to say thank you so much. We appreciate you. Lapo remains committed to improving lives. We are here, and this is what we do and what we continuously do as an institution. Thank you so much, and God bless you for listening and participating. We appreciate you a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Remy. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Rosemary. Wonderful presentation, wonderful insight. We're glad to share and learn from you today.
Thank you.
Thank you for the update.
I feel so honored. I wasn't expecting it, to be sincere. I'm so proud of Lapo.
Ina musu godiya. Allah ya ƙara girma, Allah ya ƙara ɗaukaka, ya ƙara ma Lapo albarka, ya sa mu gida. Lapo! Lapo!
I feel so honored. I wasn't expecting it, to be sincere. I'm so proud of Lapo.
Ina musu godiya. Allah ya ƙara girma, Allah ya ƙara ɗaukaka, ya ƙara ma Lapo albarka, ya sa mu gida albarka. Lapo! Lapo!
I feel so honored. I wasn't expecting it, to be sincere. I'm so proud of Lapo.
Ina musu godiya. Allah ya ƙara girma, Allah ya ƙara ɗaukaka, ya ƙara ma Lapo albarka, ya sa mu gida albarka. Lapo! Lapo!
feel so honored. I wasn't expecting it, to be sincere. I'm so proud of Blackboard.
Ina musu godiya. Allah ya ƙara girma, Allah ya ƙara ɗaukaka, ya ƙara mu da albarka ya samu
I feel so honored. I wasn't expecting it, to be sincere. I'm so proud of Blackboard.
Ina musu godiya. Allah ya ƙara girma, Allah ya ƙara ɗaukaka, ya ƙara mu da albarka ya samu
I feel so honored. I wasn't expecting it, to be sincere. I'm so proud of Blackboard.
Ina musu godiya. Allah ya ƙara girma, Allah ya ƙara ɗaukaka, ya ƙara mu da albarka ya samu
I feel so honored. I wasn't expecting it.